Hello, Harvard Kennedy School class of 2020. Congratulations. Congratulations on now having a degree that focuses on service and building a freer, safer, and more just and prosperous society. What a mission at this point in time. The world awaits your devotion to service, your passion, your talents, and your leadership. And farewell. I'm going to miss seeing so many of you in class, in office hours, in study groups, in all the different array of activities that are offered here at the Kennedy School, virtually, and in the past, in person. I feel so much hope and cautious optimism as many of you embark on your next journey. Transitions are really hard. Many of you have already had a crazy spring too, a crazy second half of semester, taking care of yourself and your families, taking care of your well-being, managing the society around you, supporting your local businesses, going home or not going home, not spending time with family or spending too much time with family, going home and not having access to remote learning. There's a slew of issues that many of you had dealt with so far leading up to this moment. So transitions are hard. So it's especially important at this point in time to recognize where we stand in this world, any position of power we may have with our Harvard affiliations, our Harvard Kennedy School stamps and seals of approval, everything that you've been armed with this degree to figure out how to make a different kind of life and an impact in the world as it is today. I'm going to draw from my experiences teaching the Product Management and Society class and some personal experiences as well to tell a few stories of being in a crisis and being in a pandemic. I finished grad school at the height of a recession about 12 years ago. Some of you here also finished school then and are now back for another degree. Hang in there. What a wild, crazy time, and especially for you to be hit twice. I remember wondering if I should have gone to grad school at all, if it was worth the extra time, if I should have been out earlier in the workforce. To devote that much time to something for a promise of a better life, a better career, better job prospects, better roles, and to not really know if all that paid off. But we can always ask what ifs, and we never really know what's on the other side, and sometimes the other side doesn't even know what could be on the other side either. And that means that's up to us to really shape what's out there. Regardless of whatever led you to apply to the Harvard Kennedy School, to get this degree, whatever plans you had in your life, today, now, you're leaving with a Harvard degree, a community, a network, a position of power and influence in many ways, and to think of how we can really affect and change the course of the world as it is today. About 12 years ago, during the last recession, graduating students and professionals and people had to think creatively about what to do next. They could no longer rely on the infrastructure or the job network that they thought they could rely on. It was that same period of time that in the private sector, companies like Slack and Coursera and Airbnb and WhatsApp and Venmo and so many others surfaced and were created in response to the current recession at that time. People had to get creative about new roles, had to get creative about fixing different types of problems the tech sector was not addressing. That's my field, technology. And in the public sector as well, new organizations, new agencies, new policies, new laws, so many more things were created during a time of recession. And many of those are by people who showed up. And in the public sector, a lot of times it's about who signs up and who shows up and who raises their hand to come serve and come help. For many of you with your now Harvard Kennedy School degrees, there's so much you can do to rethink how we run the private sector, how we have more mission-focused work, and what we can do differently in our governments and in our public sector and in civil society at all levels around the world to really steer the course for a better society and a better world. From my own time here teaching, I've met so many of you who are service-minded, who put the community over self, who do work for the sake of a better world, who are interdisciplinary, who reach across lines, who work with others to build better services, better policies, better laws, better technologies. So what does this time look like to you? How will you shape the world? Things aren't the same anymore. There's great need in areas that maybe perhaps were ignored previously. There is so much room for many of you to take what you're armed with here and what you have learned from the Kennedy School, both inside the classroom and out, and go really, really, really shape a different kind of world. While you embark on your next journey or ponder what you want to do next, be prepared for the unexpected, both positive and negative. It's hard to tell when tragedy or hardships will strike. It's also hard to tell when amazing opportunities will present itself in front of you. And when we're so hyper-focused on one lane or one direction, it may be hard to pivot and respond to those tragedies, or it might be hard to pivot and take advantage of those new opportunities. I'll share with you a personal story about the unexpected when it felt like everything just kind of hit all at once. My mom was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia about a week after my partner and I got back from our wedding. We had all of our boxes packed, we were starting new jobs across the country, and we were ready to go. We got this phone call from the hospital. So I spent those years working, doing my job, flying between cancer centers and home, and staying with my mom as much as I could for chemo treatments and blood transfusions. In the meantime, also treating all of that time together as an ethnographic study of hospital systems and a healthcare system and caretaking and what that all looked like. And I also got to spend a lot of time with my mom, something that I really hadn't gotten a chance to do in my adult life. And somewhere during that time, because of a large healthcare technology failure in the United States and public servants who have been pushing for better digital services in government for quite some time, a new organization called the United States Digital Service, part of the White House, was just spinning up. And I got a call to come serve based on my knowledge of healthcare and data and a number of other things. And I'll never forget that week. My mom had just gone into remission. We were all so excited and relief because our health was better. It seemed like maybe life would go back to some level of normalcy for all of us. And we were just ecstatic and overjoyed. And there was this call to come do a new role across the country again. So I took the role. That role was made possible because there were people who had the foresight to create a new organization to focus on technology and digital services in the United States. And because of a lot of my own experiences having built healthcare technologies and candidly spending several years in hospital systems myself, I was able to contribute a lot to that opportunity, completely unexpected, both of them, the cancer and USDS, that popped up in my life at kind of the right time. So whatever that may be for you, it may be really hard to see right now because there's so much uncertainty and so much unknown. Be prepared for the unexpected. Be prepared to pivot when things don't go right. Know that you can get through it. And be prepared for the amazing opportunities that might come your way. The next thought I really want to share is something that we actually talk about in my class quite often. It's the idea of ceding power and making the invisible visible. In my class, it's in terms of building technology, but this applies to making policy, this applies to making laws, this applies to any activity that involves building or making something that affects a large population of people. It's the idea of recognizing that there are power dynamics and biases that exist in the world that we live in today. We've seen that so clearly during this time of this pandemic, of who has what and who does not, who's able to get onto Zoom and have classes with you, and which classmates are unable to, because when the moment they went home, that was not a possibility anymore. And there are so many other jarring inequalities and invisible inequalities that we don't see and cannot see. So armed with your Harvard Kennedy School degree, armed with your networks and your communities, think of how to use that power and cede it, and think of how to make the invisible visible, to bring truth to the issues at hand, to bring truth to the pandemic, and with that to build a much better society and a different society, while also potentially highlighting and amplifying the really good work that's already been done by the people who historically have not been brought to the table. And finally, never forget what's most important. There are things in this world that are really, really hard to fix when they're broken. Some of those things include family, personal relationships, our own healthcare and the healthcare of others. When those things are broken, they can be very difficult to fix. Career, academic positions, etc. Some of those things can be much easier to fix. So prioritize the important stuff. For many of us who think about society more broadly, for you who came for this degree because you care about service and you care about building a safer and freer and more just and prosperous society, it can be easy to forget about yourself and to put the greater community ahead of you. But don't forget about the important parts of your life as well, and take care of yourself, your health, your family, your relationships to the extent that you can. And in many ways, that can also help you better serve society, whether it's because you're happier, or it might be because those relationships and those priorities, in my case, taking care of a mom who had cancer for 3 years, can really enhance how you view the rest of the world and how you contribute to the rest of the world. Cheers to you all, class of 2020 of the Harvard Kennedy School. I wish you the best of luck. I will miss many of you and the wisdom and the insight and the thoughtfulness and rigor you've brought here to the Kennedy School. Many of us faculty members will still be around if you want to reach out for anything. Some of you have already and continue to do so, and I know I personally really love hearing from you. Please take care of yourself, of your family. Congratulations to everyone who made this possible for the graduates, and take care. Congratulations again. So cheers to you, class of 2020 at the Harvard Kennedy School. We're so proud of you. Congratulations on getting through spring 2. Congratulations to your family members and loved ones who helped you get here. Thank you to my own partner and kids, hi girls, who helped me teach during this time. We'll be cheering you on and watching you from afar. We're here if you need anything. We'll try to do our part to build a freer, safer, more just and prosperous society. Congratulations, take care, congratulations, cheers.